All right, so guys, ref to our last lesson. We did our website form. All right. Then we did our delay. We set our delay after 10 seconds. So that there is done. So I'm just going to quickly close that. So remember, we already have an email marketing list. So I'm going to come here to segments. So when I come here to segments, I've got 4 subscribers there that I just put for training purposes. So on the segments, what I want to do is now create a segment like that. So when I'm creating a segment, I'm going to call this segment and say South Africa. Meaning to say, all I want is emails from South Africa. Okay. All right. So I want to target a specific audience from South Africa when I'm now doing my email marketing. All right. From ref to my domain TLDs. So TLDs are actually .co.za, .com, .net, .online, etc., etc. Okay. So now here, when I come and add a condition, here email, these are the conditions. You can put your condition set on email, first name, last name, verification result. Remember, I had mentioned that you're supposed to verify all your email addresses. All right, last opened, last link click, created date. So we're just going to maintain this one here, email, and we're going to say email contains. Okay, it contains. All right, so here, this here is what actually makes us separate these emails here. Okay, so if you go, for example, if you want to just send emails to people that have been verified, you can click on email verification equals deliverable or undeliverable. So you can create your mailing list depending on what exactly you want. So there's undeliverable, unknown, risky, unverified. So if you create a segment for risky emails and you take those risky emails and you blacklist them, that means your email marketing list is clean. Okay. And if you take, for example, you say undeliverable, meaning to say those email addresses no longer exist. All right. And then you come here again, then you say verification result, and then you come and you say risky, like that. So what you've literally done with this list here, you can simply blacklist this list. When you blacklist it, it will appear here. Okay. It will appear here on the blacklist. And so when the email is blacklisted, when it appears here, it's also going to clean up all the emails for everyone else that is also going to come onto MailTargets. That's the beauty that you guys have here as an advantage on MailTargets. Other email platforms don't do this. So here, if Mr. Mutle blacklists emails that are risky and undeliverable, it will blacklist all for all customers on MailTargets. Okay, meaning to say all customers on MailTargets are safe from not sending emails to those people. So the moment someone adds that email as a lead, okay, it will automatically pick that up as a blacklisted email. All right. So for now, I just want to do this here. I want to create this segment, and then I'm going to add a lead of John Doe, and then I'm going to blacklist it. All right. So let's do it this way. So here we said South Africa. So I'm going to remove this. When I've removed that, I'm then going to come here and say email. All right. Contains. All right. So co.za, like that. So I'm creating a segment for email addresses only for company domains that are for South Africa. Okay. So I'll click there and save. Okay, so here we go. It has given us a result. So we've got condition 1, match all, and then email contains.co.za. It's only one email that contains .co.za. Okay, so with that being said, I can click there if I want to edit and add any other condition. But when we look at it, if I come to my subscribers here and say view all, these are all my subscribers. And then on segments, I can say view all, but I can then narrow it down to say that the segment that I want is only South Africa. There we go. You see that? So this tells us that the only emails that we are actually targeting are people from South Africa. So if we're only targeting people from South Africa, when you now go to creating a campaign, you can target this particular mailing list, which is South Africa. So I'm going to quickly just go onto Heal PR and I'm going to subscribe as John Doe. Okay. All right. So I'm going to subscribe as John Doe at gmail.com, like that, and then subscribe. So naturally, MailTargets is going to send a verification email to John Doe. Okay, so when it sends a verification email to John Doe, as you can see here, it's saying unconfirmed. If I hover there, it shows me I've got one email address that is unconfirmed. All right, so now what I can then do now is I can go to my subscribers, and then when I go to my subscribers, John Doe is unconfirmed. You see? So here I can say move to. There we go. No other lists. All right. So we don't have any other lists. So what I can do is let me try and edit this here and try and add a tag to it. All right. So I'm going to say blacklist and give it some time to propagate. So here the email is not yet verified. Come on. So I've tagged that one to be blacklisted. So as it propagates, it's then going to show that the email has not been verified. Or if I try sending an email to this here, it's going to show that this email does not deliver. Okay, so I can simply just create a segment, and on this segment, I can say blacklist, for example, and then condition all, then here email contains, okay, I'm just going to put John Doe like that, and then I'll save it as a segment. So when we create a campaign and send a campaign to this blacklist, okay, John Doe, I spelled it correctly. All right, it hasn't yet populated. Why? Let's just save it as Doe, contains Doe. Okay, there, now it's populated, contains Doe. All right, so we are going to create an email campaign that we're going to send to Doe. It's going to fail because the email hasn't yet been verified. And then if it hasn't been verified, and then as time goes on, as it continues being in the system, then you'll be able to blacklist that email address. Then it will come here. When it comes here, which means everyone else that is going to have someone subscribe as John Doe, it will automatically blacklist that. All right. So we've covered the segments. I'm sure now you understand how the segments works. And then here we've got your subscribers and stuff like that. So what happens is here on the overview, this here gives you basically detail of what you've got and stuff like that. And then here you've got your email verification. So your email verification, what happens is here you've got 0 credits, you've got 5 unverified emails, 0 verified, total subscribers is 5. So when you get a plan for verification, when you actually purchase the plan for verification, you'll find that it would actually verify your emails, and then you see, yeah, it's not going to do that. Out of credits, you understand? So you need to get credits to verify those emails. So on credits, here you can come to subscriptions and credits, then it can show you what you have and what you don't have, and etc. and etc. So verification credits, you've got 0, then you can always purchase your verification credits and stuff like that. All right. So that's your audience overview. And then when it comes to templates now, this is a beautiful part that most people struggle with when it comes to email marketing. So now we're dealing with campaigns under templates. So literally, when you're setting up your MailTargets account, you start setting it up from the bottom going up. Okay? You set it up from the bottom going up. So now we're on templates. So here we have a template selected. All right, we can preview that template like that. Okay, so with us having that template, I can delete that template and just start afresh. Okay, so I'm going to say create template. So when creating a template, what do we want to do? What do we want to achieve is the question. All right, do we want to send a welcome email? Do we want to let people know what we are all about? So we can basically just come here and use simple text like that. All right. And then we come to the bottom here and say create design. So now that we've got our design there, all right, so here we've got view this email in browser. So I'm just going to say system inherit for the font family. We're changing the font family. All right, there we go. Nice small font that actually suits you to send an email that is a bit lengthy. Although you can actually change the font family, you can change it to Georgia, you can change it to Impact. You see, you can change the font to whatever you want to change it to, but system inherit is actually the best. All right. So when you've done that, and then here we've got container width. So I need you to look at this here. If you do it full bleed, you see, that's what it will look like. Then if you do it extra large, it will look like that. You've got wide, you've got medium, all right? Then you've got narrow. Or you can simply go for auto full and then it will do that. So the best of the best is narrow or medium. Okay? You can either go narrow or medium. If you do these wide ones here, then you're most probably anticipating people that are going to open your emails from their computers and stuff like that. So for example, most people with company domains usually like opening emails on their computers, but some also have their emails on their phones. All right, so here you can go with narrow. If you go with narrow, please do note when you do the mobile view, you see it shows you that. So it's very important when you're designing your email, know exactly what you're doing by viewing the view on a tablet. You also view it on mobile. And then when you view it on mobile, ask yourself, if someone's to open my email from their phone, is it going to be too long? Is it going to be okay? Is it going to be short? What exactly is it going to be like? All right. So here we literally creating a mail template that we're going to be able to work with as we go. All right. So here, view this email in browser. You can leave it like that, but I usually like to change it and do it this way. Say view in browser like that. All right. So you can also reduce the font size like this. reduce the font size like that. So here, put it to 12. Then you save. Very important part. You always have to save when you've made any changes. So here now, I'm going to come here. I want to reduce the top. I want to reduce that white space at the top there. So on the top, I'm going to do this. I want to reduce the white space, right? So I want when someone opens the email, it will look like this on mobile. You see, view in browser right at the top there, and then the logo. Because if I've got too much white space at the top, like this, oh no, I'm doing it on the wrong spot. If I've got too much white space here at the top, see what it will look like on mobile. So I don't want it to look like something that has been designed by an amateur. So let's put that view in browser right at the top there so that someone will be like, oh, okay. So that there is not part of the message. View in browser should be right at the top because it's not part of the email or message. This here is basically just a link that someone is going to click to view the email in a browser. So I'm going to come quickly and click on the logo. So on the logo there, let's check what we have. So we don't have anything there in the assets. So I'm just going to upload something here into the assets. By doing that, I'm going to drag it and I'm going to drop it there. Okay, drag and drop, then there we go, select. All right, so now I've selected that. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size of that like that. Then I'm going to come here to mobile and view it. So we can either put this here at the top, or we can create a simple template where we can change the logo and put it there. So I'm going to view my assets and then all media items. I'm going to select. So I'm going to put a star on that. All right. And then, so you don't have to keep uploading your logo over and over and over and over again. So you've got this part here. Okay. These are your, this is your media basically, where you can actually see what is what. All right. Another way of uploading your logo is this way. Let me just quickly show you. So I'm going to delete that. So when you go to your website, you can literally just do this here and say copy image address like that. And then I come here and then I put a link, all right, to the image address. Because you have to take note of the fact that you don't necessarily have a lot of space here because space is limited. Why? Because some people are going to be uploading very huge items, and then that actually slows down the entire system. All right, and then click on done, and then let's see if it will quickly populate and add our logo. No logo added. Why? That's queer. Let's paste the URL here. It's there. The URL is right there, but it's not displaying. I don't know, maybe some issue. But we've got our URL right there. That's clear. Let's try and open a new tab. Huh? How does it open a new tab? Open image in new tab like that. Let's copy that. Maybe it's not displaying because it's in the back end of the website, the URL. It's not public. Paste it again there. Then this here we're gonna then sort out after it has pasted. All right, it's not pasting this image here. Maybe it's because it's the URL is showing that it's on the core public. You see, it's in the back end of the website. If you can look there. Okay, so let's rather just go with what we know. All right. Okay, I deleted that by mistake. So I'm just going to do it for the sake of training. Let's just go ahead and do it that way. And then here we can reduce the size of that logo like that. And then on the Facebook page and etc., we can then come here and go to the website and look at our Facebook pages. There we go. We've got our Facebook page there. So I'm going to copy that URL for the Facebook page. Then I'm going to quickly just go and click back, go back to our website. And then here I'm going to click on the Facebook icon. Then when I've clicked on the Facebook icon, I'm going to click on the drop down there. Then here I'm going to add the URL for the Facebook page. All right. And then we can go back into the website. We can check LinkedIn pages, etc., and we can do the same thing and add them all there. Then when we're done adding, then we just minimize that and etc. So yeah, I'm going to quickly save. So now we've linked our Facebook page. You can continue doing the same thing for all your social media icons. And then now the other part that we really do need is a link. We want to link our email to some place and make our email transactional. So here I'm working my way from the bottom going up. Okay. So now that we're here, all right, I can simply come here and go to settings. So these settings are the same settings that are there. Okay, but this one here just gives it to you right there. So I can configure everything by actually going here. Right. So this is our button, register now and stuff like that. I can change this button here from being black like that by simply going there, and then I can use a red button like that. Okay, so here using red is literally telling your audience that, hey, this is your call to action, click here. Okay, so when we do that, we can simply come here and say, change the text there. And then we can say visit website, or we can simply say view our blog. Okay, so we've done that. So someone now has their call to action, which is good to go, depending on what exactly you're promoting. Okay, but let's not limit ourselves. So when you've chosen this year particular theme template, that shouldn't limit you, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be able to add YouTube videos and stuff like that. If you want to add a YouTube video to your email marketing, you can simply do it that way. You add a YouTube video right there. Okay, so for example, if just give me a second, let me check this. All right, so here we're trying to add a YouTube URL to our email. That there becomes your advantage by not making your email too heavy and stuff. So here we've added that video. So if you have the videos yourself, that is what you can simply do. Someone can play this video directly from their email. All right. So you can, if you'd like, you can actually increase the size of the video or reduce the size of the video, depending on what exactly you want to do to configure that video thing. Okay, so you can come here, you align it to the left, all right, like that, and then you can align it to the center. It all depends on what exactly you're trying to achieve. And then here you've got width of the video. As you can see, the width there, it's aligned to the side, so you can also increase that width like that. All right, And then that's what it's going to look like. I'm just going to quickly save on that. And then you can come here. So someone on mobile can still view that. Okay. So understand that there's so much you can do to keep your clients engaged. So if you can get videos and stuff like that from YouTube, you can add. But if it's not a YouTube video, you can as well do this here. Here, you've got a video widget. So you can come, you drag it and you drop it there. And then you can then paste the video URL if that video is not on YouTube. You can also paste the URL there. So I'll click that. Then you can paste the URL right there. Okay. So it's as simple as that. All right. So I'm going to remove that segment. Let's just leave the video there for now. Okay. In the event that one wants to actually, set up something like that. So here on the video, guys, we actually increased the what do you call it? We increased the width. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can add a background image onto that if you've got any background images by simply clicking there. When you click there, you're on the video and you can do your settings of whatever on the video and stuff like that. So we're going to quickly move on. We've added a video there, the footer. So here, if, for example, you've got a video blog, you can simply say view our vlog. Okay, so view our vlog, and then here you've got, an introductory kind of thing onto that vlog. Okay, so you save when you're done with that. So now here we can reduce the size of this logo so that we don't have large logos all over the place. So if we reduce the size of the logo like that, because it's important for someone to see the branding as they enter the email. So our logo is there and it's a bit too small. So we can increase its size just a little bit on the mobile view and see what it looks like. Okay, so our logo looks perfect like that. Then we're going to save. And then we're going to also go back now to the desktop version of the email. So on the desktop version of the email, I'm going to come here and change this here and say, hey, how you doing? Okay, so I'm going to do that and say, hey, I'll just say, hey, how's it going? Rather, hey, how's it going? All right, full stop. All right, or maybe you can change it and say, hey, trying. You can even say trying to lose weight. Okay, like that. And then you can reduce the size of that font. Okay, like that. All right. Then let's put a question mark there. And then you set up the body of your email to whatever you want it to be. Okay. Then you put in the body of the email and stuff like that. So basically, if you look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, paragraphs. So if you keep it nice, short and sweet, you didn't put too much detail, because here you've got you're addressing an audience that just subscribed. They haven't bought anything from you. So if you keep it nice, short and sweet, you will always get your audience to be always engaged, because they don't have too much to read. If they open the email on mobile, this is what the email looks like. Okay, it's not too much for them to read. Let's just try and reduce the size of that logo again. It's not too much to read. All right, so this here will be good for your audience. So I'm going to simply click there on save, or rather, let me just do it this way and then say save and close. So now we've got an email template. We can rename it there, okay, and say welcome mail template, like that. So we rename that template. So on the automation part, the beauty of the automation part is that you can create emails depending on what you want to do. You're welcoming a new subscriber, you're saying goodbye to a subscriber, you're saying happy birthday to your subscriber. That's if your subscribers provide birthdays and etc. And then subscriber added date, you can send an email and say, hey, congratulations, you've spent 1 year with us, and the fact that you've completed a year with us. Here's a token of appreciation. There's an ebook for you to read, etc., etc. And then here you can create a monthly. This year, for example, if you want to do, monthly email reminders. Hey, how's it going? Are you checking up on your diet? Are you checking up on your accounts? Are you checking up on whatever? You can create that. You see, and then here, abandoned cart is like if you've got your mail targets connected to your e-commerce platform, you can do that. And then contact attribute here, trigger the automation. If a contact attribute matches a specified value, also support wildcards like that. All right, I'm sure you get that. Nice, simple, and easy. Like contact attribute, you might, as you saw me, I added a tag that an audience is blacklisted. So here on contact attribute, you can also add buyers or purchasers, people that have actually converted and bought. You can put that attribute and send them automation emails to upsell. Okay, so if you're upselling, you can use this contact attribute. When someone buys, okay, so and so bought, they've left a review because they've bought, and then you can add a contact attribute and say these are buyers or clients or purchasers, etc. Then here you can remove tag. Trigger the automation for your contacts when a specified tag is removed. Okay, so when someone is no longer buying, okay, and then you can actually when you remove that tag, because here you're basically selling on a month-to-month basis. If it's a subscription or as an affiliate, you're selling health products. So if someone is no longer buying, okay, when you remove that person from buyers as a tag, it will automatically trigger an automation to say, hey, what's happening? We were expecting you to have gotten a new supply of A, B, C, D, but we don't seem to have you buying anymore. What exactly is happening? How best can I assist? Can I maybe recommend another product for you to try out, and etc. And then here, tag based, you can configure automation depending on which tag you want to send and stuff like that to a person. And then here, specific dates, I think that's self-explanatory. If you want to send email automation like on holidays and stuff like that. And then here, API, this year now, trigger an email series with an API call from your application if you have got a developer on hand. So this here is basically the API part, okay? This is the API part. So when someone fulfills the API, all right, this is an example of what you've got that a developer will actually work on to configure an API. So when they've configured that API and stuff like that, then you can always do the API thing. Trigger an email series on an API call from your application if you got a developer at hand. All right, so here, there you got the happy birthday, you got the goodbye, and then you got the welcome. So you can choose what you want. All right, so here I can simply go with the welcome. All right, and then I'm going to create health and fitness. All right, so this here is an email automation name, health and fitness. All right, mailing list, I will choose health and beauty, and then subscriber. Okay, so here, remember, I've got all subscribers, and then here, this is a segment, blacklist or South Africa. Okay, so if I say all subscribers, is going to send to everyone in the mailing list. So here, for the sake of training, let's just go with all subscribers. And then here I come then and say create automation. All right, so here on create automation, we can literally move this up and create automation. Okay, so like that, welcome new subscribers, trigger, we select our trigger and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to do this here, and I'm going to come here and trigger. So on trigger, I've got send email, I've got wait, I've got condition, I've got operation, I've got webhook. So here, I'm going to simply say send email, like that. So that's my trigger. So when I've clicked on send email, and then here, I'm going to say, so that's the subject. We create a subject and say, tired of weight loss remedies that don't work. Okay, so that's a catchy title there. Tired of weight loss, whatever. Okay, that don't work. And then from name, that's Heal PR. So here you can actually do this here and say health and beauty or fitness. Okay, and then the from email, I always advise people never to use info. Okay, never to use info. So here we can simply say Mercy at ELPR, or we can put any other name there. And then here the reply email, we can always put the same email address like that. So I can copy that there. Okay. Paste it like that. Ish, what am I doing? Paste it there. Paste it there. Okay. Tired of weight loss. Let's say supplements. All right. Tired of weight loss supplements that don't work. So here, that's it. So now on tracking, we're going to say tracking and delivery. Track opens, meaning everyone that opens the email, we're going to track clicks, and then sign with DKIM. This here, let me explain to you. When you're sending this email, it's like it's coming from your inbox, your personal email. So here, sign with DKIM, sign outgoing mails with DKIM key configured for sending domains, improves deliverability. So it's like it's coming from your inbox directly. It's not coming from an email marketing platform. And then here it says skip failed messages. Continue the flow even if this email fails to deliver to a particular subscriber. All right. If you keep this here unchecked, your email will stop when it hasn't delivered to a particular subscriber. Then it will continue to keep trying to send. So imagine you're sending to an email address that a subscriber lied about, and you didn't have your double opt-in set up, or you're sending to an email address that is no longer existing, that someone deleted. You're going to have a problem because the rest of your email will hang in the air. Okay, so what you need to do is click on that, and then when you've done that, and then you save and continue, you move to the second part, and then here on the second part it's going to say browse templates. So now you're browsing for templates. When you click on browse templates, you see these are your templates right there, and then you can come and say my templates. Remember, welcome mail template, that is our template. So when you click and select that, and then we can always, if you want, you can preview the template. You see, this is our template. All right. If you want to edit it, you can click and edit, because now you've got that set up as your template. If you want to send a different email to a new type of audience, or you're still using the same design, the only thing that's going to change is the text, you can always do that. So I clicked there, so I'm going to say save and close. All right, and then that's it right there. Okay, so here you can actually send a preview email. You can preview the email by sending it to yourself and test to see if the email looks the way you want it to look like. So you can simply do it this way and say info@eelpr.com. All right, like that. Then you can send a test mail. So test mail has been sent. You can also test it again with a different email address. For example, here, I'm just going to say danny@cartwheels.co.za. And then I send. When it pops up, I'm going to show you guys the email. So now that we've done that, we've already set up the first part of our automation. Okay? So if you want to delete that, you can delete it there. Delete, keep children, delete with children, you delete the entire thing. But no, we're not deleting, we're moving forward. So now we come back here. Now we're adding a child. Okay? We're adding a child. In the event that someone has opened this here email, we want to send another email. So here, condition, all right, email opened. Email check, none. Tired of what? That's the subject. Email link click. So if you've got many email link clicks, like on our email, we've got a YouTube address and etc. So here we leave it blank because we want to track if someone opened the email address, if someone clicked on the YouTube video and stuff like that. And then timeout, here you can select after they've opened the email, how long do you want to wait for you to send this automation after they've opened the email with that subject. All right. So here you can simply choose according to what you want. So if you select 5 minutes, it will show you that. Past time, 5 minutes. Past time, 1 hour. Past 1 day. Past 3 days. Past 1 month. So you can actually customize this here to whatever you want. So you can put there past 2 days. So that's now custom, because here you got past 1 day, past 3 days, past 1 week. You can even put past, past 1 day or past 2 days, or you can even put past 5 days. It depends on how often you want to send your emails. So now we put past 2 days there. Then we save. So now that we've saved, now we're going to come back here, add to say yes branch. Someone opened the email and probably clicked on a link. Now we come to the save branch, and then we can add send email right there, or we can simply come to the no branch. Someone did not open the email, okay? And then we can come here and put a condition. We can put a condition and say, since they didn't open that email, we want this person here, all right? Email opened, email check, none, all right? They didn't open the email, or you can put email check, tired of what, then email link click, you leave that blank, and then here, because they didn't open it today, then you can simply put past 3 days if they didn't open, and then you click on save. And then now you see you've got your automation happening in the condition that they didn't open, and then it will do that. It will send them an email. And then you simply do that. You created subject did not open, like that. And here I'm just moving a bit fast. So they didn't open, and then you come there, you create that. All right, and then skip failed messages, and then you're done. Then you move on to your template, then browse templates, my templates, select, and then here you can simply say edit, and then save and close. All right, so now we've got our automation happening like that. But now we also want to fulfill this one. Okay, so we're fulfilling this one here, and then we're going to move like this. So here, guys, we've set up, this here is basically our automation. So welcome new subscriber, and then here, tired of weight loss supplement, and then our condition. They've opened that email, okay, and then we add, no, they didn't open, and then if they didn't open, that's the condition, and then it will send another email. It will send another email after 3 days, and the email would be like this. So you create another email, you set it up, okay? And then in the event that I've actually opened that email, we need to create a condition for it, okay? So if they've opened that email, we create a condition, okay? And then we're gonna say opened email that, okay? So they've opened, if they've opened, we're saying we want to then send them another email. We don't want to bombard them and say, wait 1 day. Let's just say wait 3 days after they've opened that email. Or you can say wait 2 days, put 2 there, okay? And then when you've done that, and then you click on save. So now you've created a condition, okay? So on that condition, they open the email, all right? So now you want to send an email now, okay? So now you click on send email, and then here you just say, you put a subject. So I'm just going to say opened email last time, all right? So this is for the sake of training. As I said, email addresses that you're going to use, you're going to use email addresses like Mercy, email addresses with names, okay? So I'm going to use that, Mercy, and then I'll come here, and then I'll put Mercy again, and then now I'm going to say skip failed messages. Then I go to continue. I'm going to browse for my template, and I'm going to go to my templates. But if you now want to use a different type of template that's got products and stuff like that, you can simply come here, check this one here that's got 1 to 3 columns, or 1 to 1 columns. So it depends on exactly what you want to do, what you're trying to achieve, and etc. All right. So it would be wise for you to go for this one. Okay. You go for that, and then you can edit your template. See, now this is your template here. That's what it looks like. So here we can come and we change that logo. Go to our media items. We've got our logo right there, and then we select. We've changed the logo there at the bottom. See, so you don't have to continue getting uploading images over and over, and then there on the logo we can also change. You see, just like that. So here you can reduce the size of that logo. All right, and then you can also align that logo to the left like that, and then here view in browser, okay, change that text, say view in browser like that, and then now you can select the size of the font, and then you can align it to the left there, selecting the size of the font now. All right, and then there's too much white space at the top there, so here you can come to block like that, scroll down, and then the top you reduce the white space at the top there. So this is you working on the go, eh? All right, let's just put it at 5. Say save. This is you working on the go. And then as far as products are concerned, so what we can simply do here is we can go to our website like that, all right? And then we can simply click on that there. So we've got an image there, and then I'm going to save this image so that we can upload it. Okay. And then I'm going to come down here and look for another product. Let's look for a product that's kind of like got a bit of some spice to it. So I'm going to look for this product here, and then I'm going to take this here and say save as image. All right. So when I've done that, now I can come here. Okay. So now I'll upload the image there. So we don't have an image there, that's just a placeholder, and we can't open that folder, so we have to come here and click on upload. All right. So when we click on upload, we go there, then we're going to select that as our image. Then we come here as well, and then we're uploading another image, and we select that as our image. All right. So when we selected our images, we can resize these images. Okay. We can resize these images. Very important, guys, that you also take a look at what this then looks like on mobile. See, that's what it looks like. So if you want to be smart about it, you can reduce all this here. Like, for example, that text you can remove like that. Okay. Remove this text as well, like that. Right. So you've got there, you can delete that there, you delete that. So here you've got the name of the product. So for example, I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to write the name of the product, Proster 5. Okay. Then I'll change the size of that. Okay, so I can put it as Proster Vive, prostate product or whatever, and then work with it like that. And then here I can also do the same thing. What's the name of this product here? This is prostadine. So I'll copy that, then I come here, and then paste that in. And then this side here, what font size did I use? I used 15 as a font size, and then I choose this one as well. I put it to 15. And then here I want to change I want to change my call to action. So on my call to action, I can simply type in, for example, I'll say try it now, like that. So that's my call to action. And then here I can do the same as well, say try it now. All right. So these here call to actions have been strategically placed. When you say try it now, okay, what you're literally telling your audience is that it could possibly be for free. Click and try. Okay. So here you're playing mind games with your audience. So you need to know how to deal with your audience, because if you click on buy now, someone might say, I don't want to buy. So in as much as someone has the intention of buying, if you just say try it now, they might say, okay, let me try it. So here you're designing your email. So I've got this button on the far left. So I can also want to put this button here on the far right. All right. Let me do it this way and configure it from the side. There. I put that button to the far right. See? And then here, I can also change and put the text to the far right like that. Or I can just center the text like that. And then this one I can also center like that. It all depends. And then here I can put the button as full width or whatever that I want to do. So let me just choose this here. Let me just say 50%. No, 50% on what? Let me say auto. If I put it on auto, that's what it looks like. And then if it's on auto, I can try to center it. And here, also put you on auto. it's an auto. Then I can come here and try to center it like that. Okay, so that's done. That's centered, and then I save. So here you can add whatever text you want to add, because now that person has clicked and now you want that person to then come and buy. So you've got your products, you've got your product links. It's important that on your product links you actually add those product links. Like for example, this here product, I'm going to copy the link like that. I'm going to come back here. So here I'm on the button. So since I'm on the button, I can literally add the product link like that. And when I add the product link, I'm going to save. All right. And then I come here to the other button. And then I can also add the product link as well there, and then save. So now that I've done that, say our email is already done, it's sorted out. That's our email. It's done, it's sorted out. And then I can simply come and say save and close. All right. So now what we've done now is we have fulfilled our automation. All right. So you can go on and on. Literally, you can draw this entire thing up. If you want to add, all right. So here you've sent that automation, and then condition, they've actually opened. Yes, they've opened that email. And then now you're sending an email, open email last time. Okay. So if they didn't open, you can also set automation again and create a branch, because they opened here and now you're saying whatever. You can literally create an entire automation funnel of 100 emails, 1,000 emails. It all depends on what you're trying to achieve. Okay, it all depends on what you are trying to achieve. So now here we've got our conditions set there. Okay, so if you want to now do this here and activate this, you can now activate it. Click on activate. Okay, automation was activated. Done. Your automation is activated. So if you come back here, see, your automation is active. It's got 3 emails. You can manage your subscribers. You can disable the email. You can duplicate the email and stuff like that. So your email is active. Automation 1. There we go. Statistics. Click on your stats there. And then here, it's not yet triggered. So I'm going to come here and say trigger all. There we go. And away we go. Emails have been sent. See? John Doe is not triggered. You see that? Then here it says waiting. I've already received an email here. There we go. Let me open up this email from here. Okay. So there we go. There's the email. There we go. Okay, so my network's a bit slow. It's going to load that vlog there. All right. But I'm sure you guys can see what I'm talking about now. Okay. So I've opened the email. From which email address? Open the email from which email address, which email address, which email address. Okay. Anyway, I'm failing to see which email I used to open. So now here, I can go back and then I can still view stats. Triggered waiting, we've got 4. You see? Then there, John Doe didn't do anything. Then condition check. So I don't know. I think I opened using, let me check. All right, so that's it right there. Condition. 1 day from now, etc., started, then 1 minute. So this is basically my history. Okay, I can click on advance and stuff. I want to check the emails that I sent. All right, so running, advance, running, advance, running, advance, running. All right, so now the campaign is running. All right, view details. So it's going to track and then it's going to give me results of who opened and who hasn't yet opened. So here statistics haven't been computed yet, but click refresh and etc. So here you click to refresh, then it's still trying to collect data of who opened and who hasn't opened and stuff like that. Okay,